Hey, good morning and welcome back to Dakota News Now. We are having another edition of Owning Your Outdoors, and joining us as always is Doug Schroeder from Lewis. And Doug, last week, in case people didn't see it, we talked about thrillers, fillers, and spillers. So you kind of want to give a little bit of a brief recap before we talk about a twist on it, right?
Yes. For a successful planter, there's always three elements that you want to use: thrillers, fillers, and spillers. The thriller is the star of the planter. It's the item that really stands out and makes the whole planter. Your fillers are the supporting cast. They fill in around the thriller and makes the thriller just stand out in the whole pot. And then, of course, you need a spiller. A spiller is a viney type plant that will soften the edge of the planter. So that's the three elements that I always use when putting a planter together to make it just perfect.
And you said last week that normally people go for more of like the grasses and the purple grasses, but that's not their only option.
No, today we wanted to talk about some items that people just don't think about using as thrillers. One thing I like to do, and I do quite often in my planters, is using shrubs. I have a fine line buckthorn here. If you want some color, you can use that like a 9-bark. And then brand new this year, we have a willow. It's iceberg alley willow. And it's got a great blue tone to it and great texture to be the thriller in your planter.
Just something to kind of change it up and give it something rather than the usual grasses.
Right. And using a shrub, down below here, I put a container together with a fine line buckthorn just to give you an idea of what can be done for a planter. The buckthorn adds some height, it adds the texture, and it really makes the planter stand out.
What about this one that you have right here next to it?
Clematis. Clematis is another little trick I use. You can use any kind of vine. I have a clematis here, a mandevilla, as a thriller. If you do this, I recommend putting some additional stakes in it so they can continue to vine up and grow. But it does make a standout planter. And then from there, items that people don't think about are like calla lilies. They don't often come in, but when you do see them, it makes for a great planter. Aaron, we have it right over there.
Yes, right in front. What about this one right here? This one looks really, really nice.
That's a tropical, and we're going to maybe talk about tropicals next week. It's a whole variety of plants that love the heat, and I know you're going to be bringing heat our way, Aaron.
Eventually.
So it's a good thing to talk about. As we get into the summer, the tropicals take off, and we'll talk about everything you can do with tropicals next week.
And so if you use one of these for your thriller, the same kind of concepts apply with fillers and spillers as well?
Yes. When you pick out fillers, it should be something that complements, supports your thriller. And the spillers also, it should just tell a story. Texture, color are the two variables that really need to be taken into consideration. At the end there, Aaron, we have one, people ask me, well, what about shade? What can I do with shade? And been having requests for a long time for Kimberly fern, and that's what I used in that planter there. It's a great fern to use as a thriller in a planter. And add a few other ferns like the ribbon fern and Rieger begonia, and you have a great planter, all set, ready to go.
And like we said last week too, you don't want to cheap out on the dirt. You want to get some nice, good quality dirt.
No, that's the foundation of every successful planter is the soil. So always make sure you're buying a good quality soil to begin with, and it'll make your plants look 100 times better.
All right, Doug, thank you so much. And you said we're going to talk tropicals next week?
Tropicals and some things we can do with tropicals to make your patio fantastic.
All right, sounds great. Doug, thank you again for helping us out this morning.